This is the Night Wolf howling at you, and today we're going to be taking a look at a very special item, and that is the resurrected evil viper, Lady Slither, from Masters of the Universe, the Powers of Grayskull collection. And what makes this figure so unique is that she comes with the Snake Lair playset. Although technically she doesn't. She was part of the playset crowdfunding effort, but they shipped her without the playset. This is kind of what they did with the Kevin Smith King Grayskull and the Eternian playset. We got the figure, God, I think it was months before we got the playset in that case too. So right now we do have Lady Slither here. This is that skeletal version, which is both cool and, well, actually when I showed V this figure, she said the figure looked derpy. So we'll take a better look at it when we open it up. On the side of the box, we see some nice artwork here of her upper body and her snake skull face, which, all right, I will admit that's kind of weird looking in the artwork there. On the other side, we see her sitting on her throne, which I'm guessing that is actually inside the Snake Lair. It is kind of interesting, though, because when we look at that artwork, it kind of looks like the skeleton is supposed to be visible through the legs. But of course, on the figure, this skeleton is sculpted on top of the legs. And then on the back, we get what might be a really badass bit of artwork here of her. Although it kind of looks like she's molting or something, you know, with like skin coming off of her and stuff. So that's maybe a little bit problematic in this case. But we also do see the one weird, bizarre guy in the back, as well as the black magician. But let's go ahead and open her up. We actually have multiple layers of tape on this figure. Alright, so let me correct that. The skeleton's not sculpted on her, it's painted on her. And that probably should have been done in glow-in-the-dark stuff. Tape here on the back. You know, sadly, unlike our King Grayskull, who we could put right back in his packaging the same way that he had come out, that's not going to be true for her at all. So we have our Lady Slither figure here. As I was saying, though, the arms and legs are, you know, basically reused as well as the feet. The torso, however, is brand new. We will take a good look at all that sculpted detail here in a moment. It's a bit too bad they didn't paint the inside of her mouth darker. That's a bit of a shame. I wonder how much she's selling on eBay right now. Then we have her little snake tail thing, which is supposed to look more zombie-like. Although, I'm going to say it, it does not pose as well as the previous one did. Like, it's got more joints in it. But look at me trying to balance it. And maybe part of the problem is that I will actually need the weight of her in order to balance the tail. But right now, this tail is not impressive. I do like the skirt piece that we got with her, though, for it. That looks pretty good. And this one is definitely not designed to be reused with male characters like the other tail was. Now, again, let's take a good look at her facial sculpt here. She's got like little green glowing eyes back there with the dark spots. Again, they painted the inside of the eyes, but they didn't paint the inside of the mouth, which I think is always a problem with some of these open mouth figures, because that just looks awkward to me. That would have been a good way to do it. Pop her head off, and her cape with the two shoulder pauldrons comes off. Although this one seems to be bent a little bit in an awkward position. The cape is sewn onto the plastic, which is kind of interesting. This is copyright 2026. She's got big gold collar here as part of her neck. Again, the torso is a fully new sculpt here. You know, because we got the ribs are all sculpted in place here and the collarbone a bit. And then the spine back here. I mean, this, honestly, this looks more spider-like than anything else. And it's kind of weird that she's got some ribs just kind of floating there. But aside from that, again, the skeletal structure is painted on her skin, which is a darker green, almost gray color, or green-gray, I guess we would call it. She comes with the Staff of Ka, or Tila staff, again. And the dagger. I don't remember what they called the dagger in the lore anymore. It's been long enough for that. Wait a minute. She doesn't have a mini comic with her. I guess that's included with the hopefully it's included with the playset, but it is kind of stupid for them not to put the comic in with the figure, in my opinion. And now that I think about it, I believe they did that with King Grayskull also, didn't they? So let's go ahead, put this back on, and then we can go ahead and stick her on her snake torso. It is so hot right now that my arms are sticking to the vinyl of the light box. This is what I've been kind of afraid of here since I first started messing with this tail. I got it to stand up earlier. There we go. So that's with her snake tail on. Now, there was a part where I was kind of lamenting not getting a couple of these figures so I could display her both ways. But of course, in order to get 2 of this figure, you had to order 2 of the playset, and I didn't have the money for that at the time. Technically speaking, I still don't have the money for that. Though to a certain extent, I do kind of wish I had. But then again, doing so, I would have done it to display her both ways. And just frankly, I don't think I'm going to display her with this tail. It's kind of gross looking and not in the good way it's supposed to be. I suppose if they painted all the spot in between the different ribs for the tail would have looked a hell of a lot better. But 1, I am definitely not doing it myself. And 2, I'm not sure how it would turn out anyway. Though it probably would be a little bit better if they had gone ahead and filled this in with that same green color that's on her body. So she will most likely just end up getting displayed like this. And yeah, you can even see kind of here on the torso, where the torso meets the belt here, how much smaller that torso is than the regular torsos are. So now if we bring out our original Lady Slither, which was a exclusive to Mattel Creations, you can see some of the differences here. I mean, obviously in the head, she's still got basically the same hairdo. Like, I'd say it's definitely the same hairdo. Let's get rid of those right now. The gold was much brighter on the original version that they released. And the face is actually very attractive. Definitely does not look like this face would be on top of this skull, though, to be honest with you. The cape is obviously different. I do prefer soft goods cape to the hard plastic capes. But you can obviously see all the part reuse where literally the only difference is the cape, the head, and the chest. So it's actually Tila's body, pretty much. Although I guess technically Lady Slither was the first time they used this bottom half, I think, now that I think about it. So, yeah, that's our 2 Lady Slithers. I am going to straight out say I absolutely hate that skeletal tail. It just keeps wanting to fall over and over and over. And just trying to get it to stand up here for this little turntable bullshit was so difficult, it's not even funny. So that being said, as we talk about these figures, the skirt piece that they made for the tail actually looks better than the skirt piece they made for the original version. Partially because it's all colored in, and also because, you know, that whole tail and skirt piece was designed specifically for this figure, where the tail was designed to work with the male torsos as well, and that skirt piece was designed to be a junction between the female body and the male. Wow. You know, I just realized something, because the tail has the male shaft and the belt had the female receptacle for it on that original figure. So just saying, that's just kind of funny. But anyway, I do like the overall coloring on this Lady Slither skeletal version. I would kind of like to see them re-release Lady Slither using those colors, though, the the darker green-gray color and definitely the darker gold, because that looks so much better than her regular weapons look. I don't know why Mattel used that weird-ass semi-translucent yellow plastic for the staffs on the original toy. It just looks terrible, especially when you compare it to the almost metallic gold-like look of the new ones. But I'm pretty excited to have gotten this figure. I think she looks great. Again, I hate that tail. It'd be one thing, like, at the very least, they should have put a little hole in it so that you could attach it to a figure stand to help it stand up, but they didn't do that either. So the tail just sucks balls. But this figure does look great, and the detailing is really well done. The only thing that really would have made this better is if they had used like a translucent plastic for the limbs and actually had like a plastic skeleton inside of them. That would have looked really awesome. Or, of course, they could have made the skeleton parts glow in the dark, which they did not. But those are my thoughts on this figure. Why don't you let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And I'm kind of curious if any of you guys watching this had actually ordered the Snake Lair playset as well. Maybe your figure came in already. I mean, mine just came in the other day. So yeah, honestly, I was kind of surprised because I thought because the shop alerted me that my order was shipping and I thought it was the whole thing. I didn't realize it was just Lady Slither. In fact, I'd kind of forgotten about her altogether, to be honest with you. So when I went outside to grab the delivery and saw the little tiny box, I'm like, what the hell is that? But again, I do like this figure. And if you enjoyed this look at our, let's just call it the Skeletal Lady Slither, please feel free to hiss that like button. And if you want to see more of my nonsense in the future, especially when the Snake Lair comes in and we can do a review on that, you might want to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you want to hear more of my nonsense in the future, especially with the Snake Lair coming up whenever it actually ships, you might want to hiss at that subscription button. Perhaps even whip that notification bell with your tail. I thank you for watching. Peace and love.